Welcome to How to Git, brought to you by CodroidHub. My name is Ryan, and in this video, I'm going to explain to you the basics and intermediate concepts of Git, including cloning, initializing a repository, branching, merging, and forking. Git is the most popular version control system. A version control system tracks and records the changes in our code or documents over time in a storage location called a repository. A repository is also known as repo in short. GitHub is a widely used platform to host repositories. With version control, we can see what changes have been made by who, when, and for what reason. And we can also revert our code to previous version if there is a mistake. Almost every software developer uses Git for version control. It is an essential skill to have on your resume to land a job. In your software development journey, you will use Git to track your project history and collaborate with other developers. A code editor is a text editor application used to write code. A code editor like VS Code has tools and features that makes coding easier. A command line interface is an interface where you can type in your text commands to install and interact with programs or navigate through folders, or interact with your operating system. There are Git applications like Git Kraken and GitHub Desktop to perform Git operations, but we are using command line interface, also known as CLI. A directory simply means a folder. So in your CLI, if you type mkdir space a folder name, you will create a directory or create a folder. And to change directory or open that folder, you will type cd space folder name and press enter. We use Git commands in the CLI to execute Git operations. Initialize command is used to create a new local Git repository in your working directory. In other words, it creates a hidden .git folder where all the Git files are saved. Add command is used to add changes in the working directory to staging area. Committing saves the changes in your local repository. Your local repository is the hidden .git folder. Push command uploads code on local repo to remote repo like GitHub. And clone command is used to copy a repository from remote location like GitHub to your local machine. To get started with Git, go to github.com and create an account. You will need to confirm your email to complete account registration. Next, you will need to install Git on your computer. Git comes pre-installed on Linux and Mac. And for Windows, you can go to git-scm.com/downloads to download the installer. You can check your Git installation by typing git space -v on your VS Code CLI, or on terminal on Mac, or on shell on Windows. Next, you will download and install VS Code code editor from code.visualstudio.com. So this is our code editor VS Code. So here, let's get started by opening a new folder inside. I'll choose CodroidHub. Now here, let's go to this menu bar and click on Terminal, New Terminal. And here inside this folder, I am going to create our working directory or new folder. So let's do mkdir. I will call the new folder Git Video. And let's switch to that folder, to that directory, by doing cd git video. So now we're in this folder. So next, what we're going to do is we are going to initialize a new repository. So we do that by typing git init. It says it has initialized an empty Git repository, meaning it has created a hidden .git folder. So if I open this folder, Git video, here in my Finder, then you'll see that this is Git video folder that I just created, the new directory. So if I show the hidden folder, then you'll see this .git folder. So all the Git files are saved in here. This is inside Git video folder, inside this folder. Now I will open this folder in a new window using code dot. It may or may not work on your computer, or you could have also done open and chosen that Git video folder, and it'll open right here. The same thing. Before writing any code, we need to authenticate our GitHub account here, so we can tell GitHub when we push who is the person or what account is pushing that code. So to do that, we need to go to GitHub official documentation. It says run gh auth login to authenticate with your GitHub account, but we need this gh GitHub CLI first. So to install that, you see, for Mac, you can go and run brew install gh. By the way, it's here github/cli/cli hash installation, right? And for Windows, you can run winget install --id github.cli. So let me just quickly, oh, not this one. Let me copy this here and I will paste it. So because I've already installed it, it'll say it's already installed. But if you have not installed, it'll just go on and install on your machine. So now we can run this gh auth login. So if you paste it and enter, so I'll ask, yes, I want to log into github.com. I want to use HTTPS. Yes, I want to authenticate with my GitHub credentials. So what it'll do in the next step is it'll ask you to log into your GitHub account in the browser. It'll open browser for you. You can also use authentication token, which you can get from your settings after logging into your account, but I'm going to use login with a web browser. Now I need to copy this one-time code, which I should paste in the browser after I press enter. Press enter to open github.com, right? So I press enter. Now it has opened this window. I paste it here and I click on continue. Now I have enabled two-factor authentication here, so it will ask me to use my okay, I'll just use password. Okay, now it's activated. Now you can see that my account is authenticated here in the CLI. Now we can start coding and move on to pushing the code to GitHub. Now let's write some code so we can push to GitHub. Create a file, index.html, write some code. Let's say this is my code that I need to push to GitHub. So I'm going to do git add. So what git add does is adds changes in our working directory to the staging area. So if I do git add dot, it adds all the files and folders in our working directory. You could also do git add index.html or any other file to add only that file. So, but I'm gonna do git add dot now for now. Next, we'll do git commit. So what committing does is saves changes from staging area to our local repository in Git, which is our hidden .git folder. And we need to give a message. I will say created index HTML file. You can write whatever you want in the message. So now it's asking me to give my username and email, so I'm going to give that. Let me just copy this first. So my name, Ryan, and I'm going to give my email. Next, we've done git add, git commit. Now we need to push. So before pushing, we need to tell where should we push to. So we should push to our remote repository. So let's create a new repository. You go to github.com and log into your account and click on this plus button and click on new repository. This is the remote repository we're going to push to. Let's give our repository a name. I'm going to call it Git Video. So it's available. Let's go down here and click on create repository. So it shows you some instructions. I've already done init, I've already done add, I've already done commit. So let's go to this step and click on this. Copy this. So it creates a branch called main. We will talk about branching later, more about branching later. Let's just do this. Now we're on main branch, as you can see, and add this origin. It's linking our project to this repo. So this URL here is this. So we need to do git remote add origin in this. So I'm gonna just copy this and paste. And finally, we can, after adding origin, we can push. So let's do git push upstream origin main. So this means we're pushing our code to our remote repositories main branch. So hit enter. Now you can see we've completed push. Now if you reload in the web browser, you can see our code is here. It's been successfully uploaded. So this is the change we made. And you can also see our message. This was our committed message. Git commit -m created index HTML file. So you can see that this file here, right, that we committed. So let's look at something else. Let's look at git status. Now if you do git status, nothing to commit, no changes have been made. So let's make some changes then. Let's say I created another line of code. Let's say hello world. Now I've made changes. I've made a change. Now if I do git status, now it says changes have been made to this file, but it has not been staged. Tracked. So to track it, let's do git add dot. So it tracks all the changes. And if we do git status again, you see now it's committed. So now it's tracked. So if you want to undo git add, then you can do git reset and it will undo the git add we just did. So if we do git status again, now say it is untracked. It has undone the git add. So I'm going to push this change again to GitHub. So I'm gonna do git add, git commit, type a message, added a new line of code. I'm gonna have that as message, and I'm going to push to the main branch again, git push upstream origin main. Now this change should reflect in our GitHub. So if I go here and reload, see, this line of code has been updated. Now if you look here, you can see two commits, right? We've committed 2 times, and if you click on commits, you can see 2 commits here, right? And you can also see the message. The first time we committed, this was the message, and the second time this was the message. So here's what we did so far. We made changes to our code. After that, we did git add to stage the changes or track the changes. Then we did git commit to save the changes to our local repository. And finally, we did git push to upload the changes we made to the remote repository to GitHub. Now let's talk about branching. We are right now on main branch, which is the default branch. We were committing to the main branch where all of our code is. Branching is a feature of the Git version control system that allows you to create separate lines of development. Let's say we created a feature branch. When we create this feature branch, we take the code from the main branch, we make changes on this feature branch, and when we are satisfied with the changes, we merge the changes back to the main branch. Each branch can be thought of an independent timeline of changes. This is useful for managing different features or bug fixes without affecting the main branch. Let's create our first feature branch. Before we do that, let's do git branch. What this will do is print out all the branches we have. Right now we only have this main branch. So to create a new branch, let's do git checkout -b and give a name to the branch. Let's call it feature slash readme. So now it created this branch called feature slash readme and switched to it. You can see here. So now if we do git branch, we can see that we have 2 branches and we're currently on this branch highlighted in green, and there is a star sign before it. So to check out to main, we can do git checkout main. Now we're in the main branch, and let's check out back to the feature branch. Git checkout. I'm just gonna copy and paste this. Now we're back to our feature branch. So now we are going to make some changes in the code on this branch and push to our remote repository, which is on GitHub, and merge it. So I'm going to create a file called readme.md and write a few things here. Git video, or let me say Git tutorial video, and maybe say this is, excuse me, is a Git video. Now before we push it, we need to do git add dot, let's do git status. Now this is in green, it means our new file and the changes have been tracked. Let's do git commit, and let's write a message created readme file, excuse me, file. Now if we check back to the main, you will see that this file and this will be gone. It's not there. Let's do git checkout main. If we check out to the main branch, you see this file is not here. Okay, this is in strike through because in the main branch we do not have this code. We have the index.html code and readme code on our feature branch, but on our main branch we only have our original code. Now let's check out back to our feature branch, git checkout feature slash readme. See, this is now available here. Now to push the code to our feature branch, we do git push upstream origin and the name of the branch. I'm gonna copy this again and paste it here. So we're gonna push all the changes we've made to this feature branch. Hit enter. Now we have successfully pushed the code to our feature branch. Now if we go here, it's already here. This branch has been pushed to GitHub. Now we can create a PR or pull request. So let's do, so you can also see the new lines of code here, right? So I do create pull request and merge. So you can see here, we're going to merge the code from feature branch, the changes in feature branch to the main branch. So I'm gonna click on merge pull request. Now pull request has successfully been merged and closed. You can delete the branch or not if you don't want to, doesn't matter. Now if we go back here, since we deleted the branch, we only have main branch here. So if we go back to our main branch, remember earlier in the main branch we did not have readme file, we only had index.html, the original code. So let's go to git checkout main. Let's go to the main branch, and you will see that your branch is behind. That means the main branch of our remote repository has more code in comparison to the main branch of our local repository, which is on our machine. So if we do git pull origin main, it'll pull all the changes that has been merged to the main branch in our GitHub repository to our local repository. And now we have this readme. Now let's create a feature branch. And before we do that, let's do git branch, and this will print out all the branches that we have created. For now, we only have this main branch. Now to create a branch, to create a feature branch, let's do git checkout -b, and let's call this branch feature slash, let's say, readme, because we're going to add a readme file. Now it says we have switched to this feature branch. Now if we do git branch, we can see we have two branches, and There's a star here in front of this green branch name. That means we're currently on this branch. We can also see here. And let's switch back to main branch. For that we do git checkout main. Now we're on main branch. And let's go back to feature branch now. Git checkout feature / readme. So this is how we create branches and switch to branches and also print out the branches we have created. Let's talk about merge conflict. Let's say you took the code from main branch and created your own branch, a feature branch, made changes to it, and wanted to merge back to the main branch. But your teammate also created a branch and made changes, committed, and finally merged it. So sometimes if both of you made changes to the same file or same lines of code, then GitHub will not know or cannot decide which change to accept, whether to accept your code or your teammate's code. In that case, we need to do something called resolving merge conflict. Okay, so let's create a branch. Git checkout -b. I'm going to call it feature / updated index. I'm going to make changes to index file in this branch. So let's do a p tag. This line was written by you. Okay, so this is the change you made. And let's do git add dot git commit -m index file. Now, before you pushed, let's say your friend also made changes. Let's say he made changes on the same line. Okay, so let's do p tag. This line was written by your teammate. I don't know if it's at this. Okay, so let's say he committed and then he pushed and he merged it. So you can see we're in the main branch and this code was written by your teammate. So if we try to merge it to the main branch, let's push it. Git push upstream origin into this. Now if we go back to our repository, we have this pull request, and if let's create a pull request. Now you can see that this branch has conflicts that must be resolved. It's because we have different code. On this line of index.html, we have this code and we are trying to merge it with the main branch. But inside main branch's index.html, on the same line, there is a different code. So we need to resolve conflicts. So you can see this line was written by you and this line was written by the teammate. So you can either accept both of these, you can keep this and remove this one, or you can keep your teammate's code and remove this. So I'm going to remove this code. Let's say we do not need this. Let's do mark as resolved and commit. And then we can do, now that it's resolved, let's do merge, pull request, confirm merge. And now let's go to our index. Remember, we removed our teammates code, so we now have our own code. So if we check out to main, and we need to pull git version main, now we have our code. So this is the basic concept about resolving conflicts. Let's talk about forking. Forking is a process typically used in collaborative development, especially in open source projects, to create a personal copy of someone else's repository. So if I look up GitHub blog site, it'll give me this. I already clicked on this, so let me click on this again. So it directs me to this, and I can choose, let me choose the first one. This is a blog site template using Next.js and Tailwind. So I can click on fork here, and this name is available for me, so I click on create fork. Now you can see that this project is under my profile. Previously it was under this profile, Codebox27. So now if I go to my profile and click on repositories tab, and let me scroll down, and it's right over here. This is what I forked just now. So this will allow me to freely experiment with the changes. I can change whatever I want without affecting the original project, and I can even send PR and whatnot. Now let's talk about cloning. So I'm going to copy this and clone this repository to my local machine. So now I'm going to do cd ... to go back one directory down, and I'll do git clone and paste this URL, and this will copy the whole project into my local machine. And after this is complete, I can create my own branch. I can do basically whatever I want. So I can do cd, let's go into this directory. Now I'm right here. Now let's do code dot to open this directory. Now you can see I have all of the content